Hi everyone, welcome to Connect Your Technologies. Today I am going to explain few important interview questions related to accounts payable model. Okay, so let's go and discuss that. So these questions which I prepared based on my past interview experience and based on my work experience. So I prepared these questions. Let's go and have a look on it. Okay, so we have almost 150. So we'll see. Yeah. So at this moment, so due to time constraints and all, I can able to answer few questions on the fly. So for few questions, I couldn't able to answer. I will just explain the question, but you guys will receive the answer soon in our YouTube channel. What are the questions which I couldn't able to answer? For individual questions also, you may get answers in very soon. It will take time. Okay, let's go and have a look on it one by one. So the very first, how many line types we have in AP? So here we have a line types. We have item, right, miscellaneous, and prepayment. We have four. So the next, what is the prepayment invoice in April? Prepayment, it's a mainly used for a security deposit or an advance to the supplier in accounts payable module before we are purchasing the goods. So how many types of prepayments do we have in AP? We have two prepayments. One is a permanent prepayment and temporary prepayments. Next we have a so can you please tell me the prepayment accounting entries? So this I will do the separate video. So there you can see that what is the accounting entries in detail. We can discuss there. Next, can you please explain me the status of prepayments? So this also you will get the another short video on this. Okay. So there are we have a so not validated, unpaid. Then once we paid available status, it will come. So there are different statuses we have. So that we can discuss. So the next, how many invoice types we have in AP? So we have invoice types like standard invoice, debit memo, credit memo, prepayment, returns release, and apart from that, we have some automated invoices like withholding tax, interest invoice, some payment request invoice, intercompany invoices we have. Okay. So the next one, how many payment methods we have in AP? So the payment methods we have check, electronic, cash, and then wire payment method. So it's a complete depends on the business requirement. We can create how many they want. Next, what is the use of invoice coding workflow where we can enable it? So main invoice coding workflow means it will be used in mainly in a accounts payable for non-PO based invoice. So where it will be used exactly, So maybe the business users which they are entering the line level distribution combination incorrectly. So in this case, the business won't restrict that to get an correct account with a valid approval under. So in this case, they will introduce this invoice account coding workflow. So the business user who is creating non-PO based invoice, he will give a blank in the invoice line level distribution combination, or else he will enter some default combination also. Once he initiated a coding workflow approval to his manager, he will review that invoice and he will add the correct combination and he will approve there. Then that respective line level distribution combination, it will come and updated with the correct account code combination in the line level. So at that time we will use this. So for that we have to enable opt-in feature. Then the same we can enable in our invoice options. Then after that we can define the BPM approval for this coding workflows. Yeah, accordingly it will work. Okay, but that is very good important question, so which we come across recent interviews. That is very good important question. Next, one time payment, this is also very good question. So if you don't want business on regular basis for any supplies, at that time we will use this one time payment. And at the same time, if you are doing the business, you don't want to create those suppliers as a supplier in our supplier master data. By using this one time payment request invoice template, we can load the invoices bulk, but these supplies it will create it as an payee. From there we will make the payment to the respective suppliers. Okay, this is also we need to some basic configuration, then only it will work. So we have to enable opt-in features for one-time payment, then only it will work. The next, where we can restrict the internal or else organizational bank account on user wise or a role wise. So this is also very good question. So the business they want to restrict the users, the bank accounts which we created, right? Internal bank accounts. That means organization, company bank accounts. So that they want to display the users wise or a specific role wise. So in this case, if you go to the manage bank account task, if you edit there, we have a control tab and we have a different tab. There we have a security tab. So if you go to security tab, there we can add that particular user wise or a role wise. Then accordingly, so the list of users, the list of roles which you added there, that respective people only they can able to access that respective internal bank account. Otherwise, it won't display to the others if it is enabled. So next, is it possible to restrict the internal or else organization bank accounts on a legal entity? Yes, this is also possible. It's one of the new feature in 24 releases, maybe B or 24 CA something, somewhere they released last year, I believe. So the main intention of this feature is the guys who having the cash manager role and is associated the data access as a LE, those people only can able to see the legal entity and they can able to create the bank account. So otherwise, the other people cannot able to create the bank account on LE wise. So it will what it will do? It will restrict the users on LE wise. So those who are having the access for the legal entity in the managed data access for those people only can able to create the respective bank account against that legal entity. Otherwise, they cannot able to see the legal entity in the drop down itself. If you enable this feature in the opt-in features level, we have an option. It's a new feature. The next one, how we can create a bank and bank branches at the time of cutover or a go live or a migration phase. Since this most of the people they may not aware, it's a very good important interview question. So the guys who worked really in a that real time world experience. So few people they may say I did manually and all, but it is not possible, guys. Okay. So in real time we may receive the hundreds of the bank branch accounts. So it is not possible to create them in a single go or a manually. So in this case, in real time we can create a bank accounts with the help of spreadsheet. So on this, I'm already done the one YouTube video. So how to load the internal bank accounts, bank branches. You just go and watch it in our YouTube channel. It is already there. Okay. I already uploaded the video on this question. Okay. So the next one. So did you involve the supplier migration in procurement side or a AP side? So please keep in mind supplier migration primary activity it will done by the SCN team. If they are busy with their activities, we will get the file from the business users with the help of under their guidance. We can load ourselves. That is possible. But the main activity supplier migration it will done by the SCM team. It's not a finance activity. Please keep in mind. But as we are dealing with many activities with the supplier from the payment side, invoice side, yes, we will involve in sometimes. Depends on the bandwidth of the SCM team and AP team. Please keep in mind. Yes, you can say in interview, yes, I involve. But please keep in mind, it's a main SCM activity. Next, um, so yes, you can say this. Yes, you can involved for supplier migration in my go live or a cutover phase. The next one, what are the roles required to create the supplies in a procurement side and AP side? So that means while you are creating the supplies, what are the roles required? So here we have only one supplier. So one role is required to create the supply, that is supplier manager. And we should have the data access also. Then only it will work for the respective BU. Next question. So what are the prerequisite setups required to create supplier in procurement or AP side? So like if you want to create a supplier, we should create that employee user as a procurement agent. Then we should have the supplier manager access and we should have the business unit data access for users that respect to role and user. Then you can go and create a supplier. It will allow you to create the access for like profile level, address level, site assignment level. Okay. Next one. So is it possible to restrict the business user if any point of time they want to add or modify the supplies bank account at supplies site level? So here we have a two things. Yes, it is possible to restrict them. So in this case, we have few more question on the same. So we have a two ways we can restrict. So the first one is we can create one blank custom role So like add supplier bank account, view supplier bank account. Okay. So in this case, so that custom roles blank role we can create with the help of form personalization customization. That creation option we can disable for the suppliers. So the guy who having the add supplier bank role access, he can able to create the supplier. The users who have the view custom role, view bank account access, the guy who having that custom role, he can able to view the bank account. He cannot able to add it. That is one scenario. We can do that. Another thing, if you see, client want to restrict the business users in case without knowing if they adding the any or modifying any suppliers bank account at site level. So they want restrict some business users. They will modify something in the supplier profile level, address level, or else bank level, or entire supplier master data level. So by enabling the approvals, we can restrict that. So either bank account approval, supplier bank account approval, we can enable it alone, or else profile level approval, supplier profile level approval also we can do the group approval and all. It will go to the approvals. Then automatically concern manager he will get to know these guys are doing something. It will enter for the notification. Okay, so that is the way also by doing the approval also we can restrict. So next, what is the PPRT in AP? So it's a payment process request template, so which we will be used for make the bulk payments in the accounts payable. So that that is also very good question. We will get frequently in all our interviews. Okay. Next, what is the accounting entry for multi-period accounting and invoices after multi-period accounting recognition program we ran? So this I will do the separate video. So we have a that are deferred expenses, item expenses, and after we run the multiple recognition program, so deferred expense will be run. So and we have what is the multiple accounting entry for the payment. So these I will release few more videos. So there you can see the answers. Yeah. So the questions which we discussed as of now. So all are important questions, very important. So please prepare yourself. So the next one, if you see, what is IDR and what is the use of IDR? So IDR means it's an intelligent document recognition which we will use it for to create the invoices automatically. So earlier we will call it as it's an invoice imaging solution, OCR like that. So next, what is the basic configuration required to set up AP model? So there are a lot of configuration will be there like a business unit, business functions, business unit set assignment, reference data set, common options, payment options, invoice options. There are a lot configuration it will be involved. So you just prepare that. It's a very good important question. Next, what are the mandatory fields are required to create AP invoice? So this we got recently in Cognizant. So they will ask what are the mandatory fields. So whether you worked really or not on the face behavior, you know the you should have the remember all the fields in the screen or not. They will check it. So you can say business unit, legal entity, supply site, then invoice number, the transaction date, liability account, line level amount, distributions. These things you can say randomly. So, okay, so that is also very good question. Next, what is the PO matched invoice? So whenever we are following the P2P process, we have a PO matched invoice. With the help of PO matched invoice, what we will do by matching the PO, we will create a AP invoice in the accounts payable model. So there we have a different process again, two-way matching, three-way matching. So here, once you match it the PO, all the information it will fetch from the PO to AP. There we can validate and we can match it and we can create the invoice. So then next, what is the accounting entry at the time of PO matched invoice? So here we have a different entries we have that we will get in a separate video. So I'm not going to discuss those are the very important concept. I will do the separate video for that. So next, what is the accounting entry at the time of payment? So if you say it's a only payment, so the liability will be debited and the cash clearing will be created. So for the payment entry. So next, what is the debit memo? So debit memo, it's a negative sign in AP. So it will be raised by the organization for the return goods. So next, what is the credit memo? So credit memo is nothing but it's a negative invoice. It was raised by the supplier to reduce supplier outstanding balance in their books. I mean to say supplier books. Okay. So these are very important question. Okay, please keep in mind. So next, what is the entry for debit memo? So debit memo entry, what is the entry for first? item expense to liability for normal invoice. It will be reversed. Either debit memo case or a credit memo case, it will be reversed. Liability to item expense will be credited. So credit memo also same entry. So what is the accounting entry for credit memo? Same. Item expense to liability it will come. So sorry, liability to item expense it will come. Sorry. Okay. So it will be reversed. Okay. Don't confuse. Next, what is the difference between debit memo, credit memo in accounts payable? So here also you have to explain the same. So debit memo it will be used for return goods. It was raised by the organization. Credit memo it will raised by the customer to reduce our outstanding balance in their books. Okay, please keep in mind. It's a very important question. And we can create debit memo automatically with the help of pay and use or a pay and receipt functionality for the return goods. You can keep in mind. Next, what is the payment statuses for the payment? Once you done the payment, so the payment status it will be a negotiable status for any payments which were made in a Oracle Fusion. That you can keep in mind. Okay, it's a negotiable status. So next, what is the void payment in AP? So void is nothing but due to some reason you made the payment, but you want to reverse it. Maybe you created one invoice. So after he created, once he made the payment, he realized that the payment amount which he entered it's a wrong. Okay, the combination it might be wrong, a date might be wrong, or a supplier site might be wrong. So in this case, to avoid that, to correct that, if you want to correct that invoice, you already made the payment system, it won't allow. So in this case, to correct the invoice, to modify some data invoice level, if the invoice is already paid, system it won't allow us to change the anything. So in this case, we can void the payment. That means we are reversing the payment, we are cancelling the payment. Then we can go and do the required changes at the invoice level if it is allowing. If it is not allowing, you can cancel the invoice. You can create a fresh invoice with the appropriate information. Then you can make the payment again. So that is void payment. Simply we are cancelling the payment. So what is stop payments? So stop payments means you already initiated a payment. So here also you realize that you may the payment it may done for a wrong bank account, or else the funds it may not available at this moment, or else so the check which you issued to the supplier it may be stolen, it may be lost. So due to reason, if you want to stop that payment, you can stop it. Okay. So next, what is meant by business unit? It's a very good question. So business unit means it is in a place, it is in a location where the exactly operations are happening against that plant or against that entity. Okay. So like invoice creation, payment creation, and then the report running. So the consolidation process. So everything it will happen in the particular location, particular plant. That we will call it as a business unit where actual business is running. That particular place we can call it as a business unit, and with the help of business unit we can do the security also. That means if you have a two business units, what are the activities have done by the invoice payment, it will happen in a BU1. The same BU1 transactions we shouldn't show to the BU2 users. Same BU2 users, what are the activities they are performing, that we cannot able to see at the BU1 level. So that such a way also we can restrict the users with the help of BU security. So the next one, what is the RDS? So this we can say reference data set. So RDS. So what is RDS? What is use of reference data set? Both are same. Few people they will confuse you by asking these short words. RDS means reference data set. So what it will do? It is a used for if you want setup data. If you want use that setup across the application instead of doing the multiple times, we can use. It will provide the some same set of data. We can use that across the application instead of creating the multiple times. So simply we can say we can share some setup data across the BUs to avoid the maintenance efforts, time saving purpose. Okay. And we have some shared service also we can use that. I'll explain later that. Next, what is the use of business unit business function? So this is mainly used for we can enable the business unit access for the lease accounting or a procurement or a payment or invoice or requisitioning side or expense side, some self-service procurement side. So that's where we can restrict for our respective BU. What are the business functions which you enable? That respective module only that BU it will be visible. That particular transactions we can able to do. either setup transaction or transactions, we can able to allow. If you have a business function access, then only system will allow us to do the configuration. Otherwise, we cannot able to do that. So let's assume lease accounting. If you want to set up a lease accounting for your respective BU, that lease accounting function should be enabled in for the respective BU in the business unit business function. Then only you can able to set up the lease accounting system options and then payment templates, payment options, index rates, payment, the exercise options, everything. Otherwise, it won't work. Okay, that's where we can restrict the BUs. Next, what is the payment term in AP? So payment term, it's nothing but it's a mainly used for we can specify the due date of the invoice. Okay, with the help of payment terms, it will simply calculate the due date of the payment. Okay, so the next one, did you involve the overdue invoices payments in AP? So here overdue payment invoices means it's a interest functionality. Okay, if any due date is crossed for any invoice system, it will calculate the interest invoice automatically if it is enabled the interest functionality, overdue functionality for the respective supplies. So in this case, we have to provide the interest accounts, the minimum interest amount. We have to enable the functionality at the invoice options level. The same we can go and enable the it will be used for the interest options in our supply site as well for the respective supplier. Okay, so these are the very important questions which we get come across in a different interviews. So the next one, what is recurring invoice in AP? So recurring invoice means this we will be used mainly repeated kind of the nature of entries, maybe utility bills, rent, some power bills, whatever it may be. So in this case, if any invoice which you created and repeatedly monthly, so for that we can generate these invoices and we can create it. So what is the status available for PPRT, payment batch invoices? There are a lot of statuses it will be there, like select, build, validate, format, transmit. So that I will explain in a separate video. So along with the statuses and selection processes. So the next, how many types of holds are available? These are also, there are a lot of holds will be there, like invoice holds, system holds, accounting holds, distribution holds, line variance, budget variance, okay, supplier holds. There are a lot of things will be there. We'll see later. From where the liability, from where the supplier liability account will be defaulted to the invoice header level. So here we have two things. If you specify the site assignment, supply site assignment level, from there it will pick that liability account, supplier liability account, and it will update our invoice header level. If you are not specifying the supply site assignment level, if you give the blank there, and it will go and pick from your common options. Okay, so it will go and pick from the common option. So here two checks will be there. First, it will verify the supply site level. If it will be there, it will consider first. If it is not there, yes, it will go and pick from our common options for the respective BU. Okay, that is also very good important question. Next, what is the difference between spend authorized supplier and prospective supplier? This is also very good question, guys. Spend authorized means we are doing the actual business to the respective supplier. That means we can do the invoice, we can do the requisition, PO, payments. Actual supplier, we can able to do that. It is not spend authorized because we are spending some amount of time. He is spending some amount of time to send the goods to our organization, and accordingly we are creating the invoices, requisition, POs, and we are making the payment. The actual business is happening between us. That is the reason why we call it as a spend authorized. The next one we have prospective supply. So prospective supply, which will be mainly used if any supplies they want to do the business with us. We have a supply registration link on our website, or they will reach out to us. I am interested to do the business with you. Then in this case, we will give the supply registration link. They will register themselves by providing all basic information. So at that time, those supplies we will consider as a prospective supplies, because we are not at finalized them. Whether is the good supplier or bad supplier, what kind of material is providing, and what is the quality of that, what is the goodwill of him, any certifications these having done, any ISO certifications, any awards these guys are having, what is their credibility, and how much credit period they will allow us. These things and all we will do in a background checks for the suppliers. So based on that, once it is passed that BGV checks for the supplier validation, Then we will convert that supplies from prospective to spend authorized. Until that, we are not processing the any single invoice, single requisition, single PO for those suppliers. We will keep them as a prospective supplier until we finalized. So that's where it will be used, these two suppliers. It's a very good question. Okay. Next one, how many payment types do we have in AP? Yeah, we have a manual, quick, uh, manual payments, quick payments, and we have a refund. So that I will explain later. So manual payment, what is the use under? Okay. So the next one, is it possible to delete the AP invoice after validation? No, we cannot delete. Before validation only we can delete. Is it possible to delete the AP invoice after accounting? No, it is not possible. We cannot delete. Before validation, before accounting only we can do. Is it possible to delete the AP invoice after approving? No, this is also same. After approving, after accounting, after validating, system will it won't allow us to delete the invoice. Before validation, accounting, approved only, it will allow us to delete the invoice. Next, is it possible to cancel the AP invoice after validation? Yes, after validation also a system will allow us to delete. After accounting also, yes. Is it possible to cancel the AP invoice after accounting? Yes, it will allow us to cancel the invoice. Is it possible to cancel the AP invoice after payment? No, after payment it won't allow. We have to reverse the payment by using the void functionality. Then you can come and do the cancellation. Next, is it possible to cancel the invoice line after invoice validation? Yes, we can do. So is it possible to cancel the invoice line after accounting? Yes, it will allow. Okay, after payment also it won't allow. We have to reverse the payment, then only it will allow. Next, these behavioral related questions are very, very important. So when they are grilling you any interview in any interview, so the interviewer want to know the actual behavior whether you worked or not. They will check it. So you do perform yourself by doing these activities yourself, so that you will get good command on those behavioral question, and you can able to answer very quickly, very spontaneously without confusing. Okay, but these are very, very important, guys. Okay, in real time world. So the next one, after void the payment, can I go and create the new payment for an existing invoice in AP? Yes, 100%. So here you are voiding the payment means you are canceling the payment alone. You are not disturbing the your invoice. That means you can go and create one more payment for the existing invoice. Here you are doing only cancellation of the payment, not an invoice. If you want to do the cancel, if you want to do the whole, yes, that is also options we have, but it depends on the requirement we will do. Okay. For after void the payment, can I go and create a new payment for an existing invoice in APS? We can do. Next, what is pay alone functionality in invoice? So pay alone functionality is mainly used for if supplier requested a individual payment for an individual invoice. That means he want a separate payment for a separate invoice. Like we have a 10 invoice for supplier, he want 10 payments. So we don't want to make the single consolidated payment for 10 invoice. He don't want. So he want one invoice, one payment separately for the consolidation or a reconciliation purpose from their end. So next, what are the roles we required in AP? So we have accounts payable manager, accounts payable supervisor, specialist, payment supervisor, payment specialist. So there are few roles will be there. So that I will do one more video. You will get soon. So the next one, what access level AP model will work and how we will do the AP configuration. So yeah, so our entire AP model, it will work on a BU wise. We will do the configuration on a business unit wise. Okay, so we'll see. So the next one, is it possible to set up the document sequence in AP on each BU wise? Yes, we can set up BU wise configuration document sequence. Yes, we can set up. It will allow. Next up, can I change or override the supplier name at any point of time? Yes, you can change, you can override the supplier name at any point of time. There is no restriction. So yeah, so these are all the few important questions. Okay, it's a very, very important. Please prepare yourself. Definitely, you can able to answer in your interviews. The next one, how many types of banks do we have in our Oracle Fusion? We have a internal banks. It's related to organization, supplier banks, customers bank, and employees banks. If you are using the expense module also. Okay. Simply we can say internal and external banks. Okay. So the next one, what is meant by PDC? Post gesture checks in AP. It's a simply we can say bills payable. Okay. Future date checks, bills payable, future date payments, all are same. What is meant by bills payable in AP or a future date payments in AP? So this is mainly we will be used. We are initiating the check with a so and so date. From that so and so date, it will be remitted to the supplier's bank account because we are giving a future date payment due to funds scarcity in our organization. From that date, supplier will go and uh, remit that amount to his bank account. Next up. So which program do you run to convert a bills payable payment status from issue to negotiable status in AP? So here, whenever we done the bills payable payment, it will be initiated that payment as a issued status because we just issued the status. I mean the check to the supplier is not at reimburse that amount to his bank account. The moment when he is going and he, uh, I mean draw that amount to his bank account, at the time we do the clearance. I mean the based on the future date that check will be cleared. So then in this case, from that issue to negotiable, if you want update in our application, we have to run update miss payable checks from issue to negotiable. We have one program that we have to run automatically. The status will be changed to issue to negotiable. Normal payment it will be there at the time. Next, so what is meant by due date, GL date, term date, system date, invoice date, goods received date? So due date, it will be used for mainly due date to make the invoice payment. So GL date, once we run the create accounting, so their accounting date, what we have selected, it will go to the GL there, it will update. Next term date, it will calculate our due date. System date, what are the application which we are using from that date as per system date, it will take. And invoice date, the goods when we receive the invoice, that is invoice date. Goods received date means when we receive the goods into our inventory or warehouse. So goods will be received one day, invoice we will receive another day. So sometimes it will receive in both the days, same day only. It just depends on the dates it will come. Okay. So the main purpose of these days and all, it will be used for calculating the due date invoice and then reporting purpose, auditing purpose also. Next, how many ways how many ways we do the payments in AP? So here we can do manual payments, painful option from invoice workbench, and we have a payment batch. So by using three ways, we can do the payments. And we have host to host integration anyway. It's an online process. Next, what is mean by pay group in AP? So pay group it's a mainly used for segregating the invoice to make the payment separately. Like if you want to do the online checks separately, offline cash separately, if you want make, or as employee expense report invoices if you want make separately, or as withholding tax invoices you want make separately. We can create a different pay groups that you can associate to the respective supplier. It will update it automatically over invoice installment level, and it will be segregated those invoices while you giving the selection criteria as your payment batch level. If you give that respect to pay group, and it will be segregated that invoices and it will be column. Okay, it is very good functionality. Migration time also we will be used more. Next up, can we create any custom source or a own client specific sources in AP? If yes, where we can do sources? So we have a payable lookup there we can specify the source like so if you take any like big clients like HSBC, GE, they have some internal transports like some cab. We have a so SRS Travels, Sony Transportation, RS. We have these non-pure based invoice for Bisleri Waters, some courier charges, some internal electrician related charges. So for these kind, they have some vendor. He will send the invoice on a monthly basis. So those invoices, whenever they visited to our office, and whenever they visited to their office, our office, so each time we have a one invoice. So to create them in bulk by using the ABDA template, normal ABDA template, we will specify the individual source. That means what kind of source invoice we are loading. To understand our system point of view, we will create multiple sources like water bottles, like water, mineral water, one source, FedEx, RSDHL courier, one source, power bill, one source, and we have a lift maintenance, one source, and we have a some other specifications, whatever it may be. So like whatever it may be. So in this case, transportation, one source. So like different sources we will create, then we will load into the our application. Okay, only non-PO based case we will use mainly. And another thing would be we have a migration type. So migration, to identify the migration invoices. So AP invoices migration, either prepayment or normal invoices. For that purpose also we can create. Please keep in mind, it's very important in real time. Next, what is mean by two-way matching in AP? So two-way matching means we can create a purchase order, based on that we will do the PO matched invoice. So what is mean by three-way matching in AP? That means we will create the purchase order, then we will do the PO receipt, that in GRN, then based on that we will do the PO matched invoice in AP. It's a three-way matching. So what is the use of automatic offset in AP? So it's a very good functionality to divide your intercompany transactions within the AP and to transfer the GL by running the create accounting. We can use this. I'll tell you. I'll do the separate video. Next, what is mean by payment request invoice? So if any invoices are automatically coming to AP, either refund invoices, release accounting invoices, expense model invoices, some other third party application related invoice, those we will call it as a payment request invoices. Please keep in mind, this is also very good question. Next, because those invoices are coming to AP, we are not creating here. Okay, next up. So how many ways we can create the invoices in AP? There are multiple sources. We can create PO matched invoice, pay on receipt, pay on use functionality, and expense report invoice it will come, and then lease accounting invoices it will come, intercompany invoices it will come, IDR invoices it will come, supplier portal invoices it will come. Then what else? Third party application related is invoices it will come. So and at the same time, we can create these invoices by manually, like a spreadsheet, a video template. Yeah. So this is the way we can create it. So creation part is manual we can create. Okay. So by using the spreadsheet, by using the video template, we can create. But when it comes to automated way, like as I mentioned, lease accounting, invoice, expense model, intercompany, some third party application, supplier portal. So these many sources also we will get the invoices and it will create an AP. That is also very good question. Okay. So we got that question recently in Deloitte. Okay. So next up, what is the account type of the prepayment accounting? Nature of accounting for the prepayment. That means what is the account type for the prepayment account? Natural accounting. So we have prepayment account, right? Some account number will be there. I mean the GL code. What is the account type for that? It's a asset. So that is also a good question. Okay. So they will test whether you are saying prepayment, what is the type of the nature, what is the nature of that prepayment type, whether it is asset or expense or liability, what it is. They will ask. It's asset. What is the zero payment invoice in AP? So this is also a very good question. This I will do in separate video. Zero payments means we have a positive invoices like invoices and we have a negative invoice, either debit memo, credit memo. This positive minus plus or value, like positive plus invoices and minus negative invoices, it will equal to be zero. Plus or minus are equal to zero. This zero amount it will show in aging report or a AP trial balances. So that user you don't want to see this zero amount transactions in the report. So that's where we will do the zero payment invoices. Did you involve the shared service payments in AP? So shared service payments means we have a shared service functionality. So I have a BU1. I want to create invoice, but I want to make the payment from BU2. So this is where we can use the shared service. Invoice is created by one unit, payment will done by another unit. Even requisition POs also we can do the same. Requisition will create by the BU1, PO will process by the BU2 or also central procurement BU, whatever it may be. Next, what is ERS invoice in AP? It's a ERS invoice means we can create the invoices automatically. So with the help of pay on receipt or else we have a pay on use functionality. So the moment you done the GRN, it will create the invoices automatically by running the program. So evaluated receipts or something it will be there. Okay. Next, can I add multiple bank accounts for a single supplier in supplier master data? Yes, how many bank account suppliers having? We can add it in the site level. So what is the pay and receipt functionality? So as I mentioned, right? So pay on is mainly used for to create any service kind of receipts automatically we can use, and we have a pay and use also. So that consigned goods we have. That means supplier can itself he can put some goods, some items in our organization. Whenever we need it, we can create a pay and receipt. We will run that consigned goods pay and receipt functionality for those goods. We can use it. So we will not procure directly. So we will give a some space to the supplier. He will put his goods on in our location only. Whenever we want, we can add it. We can run it by running the pay and receipt. It will create the invoice automatically. Okay. So the next one. So we have a, I have a, I have a count of 1,000 suppliers in my suppliers master data. Now I want to update or over the supplier name or else a supplier address or else supplier's bank account or else any general invoices at the time. So give me 1 minute. Yeah. So the next one, if you see the 18th question, I have a count of 10,000 suppliers in my suppliers master data. Now I want to update or override the supplier name or else supplier address or else supplier's bank account or else any general information at a time in bulk. How we can do? Yes, we can do. There are two ways. If your technical team is good, okay, we have a APIs. By using the APIs, we can um, go and do that API script and we can update those 10,000 suppliers in a single go. And another thing, if you don't have any capability to do that, we have an FBDA template for each process level, whether you want to update a supplier name or address or banks. There we can select the option as update option instead of create option, then you can do it. Okay. Yes, we can. So that is all about these questions. It's a very, very important. So the next one. So did you involve in AP BPM approvals? Yes, you can say. So we can create the BPM approval for accounts payable module. So is it possible to create the new AP BPM approvals directly in UI front end now in AP? No. So this option they removed in 25 for sorry 24 VRA somewhere else. I couldn't remember exactly. Some new features they given. So with the help of spreadsheet only we can load it. We have no options to create any particular rules directly in a BPM rules directly in the UI. We have no options. Okay. So that is the new feature that you guys keep in mind. Okay. So the next one, what is mean by group approval, parallel approval, supervisor approval, serial approval, job approval? So this I will do one video. Okay, group approval means group of people will be there. Within that we can create a group. There it will go to the approval. There they will approve it. So there also parallel approval. That means out of group we have three members. Any one person can approve. It will approve the invoice. Supervisory approval means I created a invoice. My supervisor it will go to my supervisor. That means my manager he has to approve. Serial approval means within the group we have a three members. So within the three members, if any one person can approve that invoice, it will go to the second person. So let me do it. So if you see here, so here we have an A employee. So we have a that AP approval group. So here we have a one person. Here we have a second person, and here we have a third person. So normal group approval, if it is there, within that three person will be there. He is an employee. When he create an employee, it will go to the group approval. So here we have a condition. If it is a parallel approval, out of these three people, anyone can approve. This invoice will be approved. If it is a parallel approval, okay. If it is a serial approval, first he has to approve. Then after it will go to the second person. Then after it will go to the third person. So like serial wise it will go. Then only that particular invoice will be approved. So that is the serial approval. So next we have a job level approval. So job level approval it will happen between the two people. Okay, we have a two people like he is the manager. Okay. So he is the employee. Let's assume he is the manager. So in this case, once he create invoice, it will go to his manager based on job code. So his job code is maybe employee 10, employee 11 is the job code. So based on this job level, it will go to the approval and he will approve the invoice. That is one thing. When you, if you go to job level approval, it will be the job codes. We have separate task. We can create that. We can assign to the manage users task level. Then accordingly it will work. So at the same time, if you go for a supervisor approval, he is an employee, he is a manager. Based on the designation in for this, who is the employer is assigned, sorry, manager is assigned at manage users task level for this employee. For that manager, it will go to the approval automatically. It's a supervisor. Who is my supervisor? Which is there in my employee master data. I mean, it's a manage users task. From there, it will hit the approval. So this is also very, very important. Just as an a to tell them an interview, yes, I know, just prepare that cell. So usually our technical team will be there to do this BPM approval in real time. But when we are doing the support project, enhanced project, any amendments or any changes required, yes, we have to take up. There is no other option. At the time, there is no technical team. So next, what is accounting entry for expense report invoice? So this is also I will do the separately, but it's a very good question that we got in I think PwC or Deloitte something. It's a good question. Next, what is the third-party payment in AP and what are the setups required to enable this functionality? So third-party payments means we are receiving the invoice from A supplier, but we are making the payment to B supplier because they have an agreement. So there are a lot of things which will be there. So in this case, we can create the invoice from the A supplier. So let's assume we have a supplier. So it is an organization. Let's take BYD. It's an organization. And we have a B supplier. So this you can say agency also, what it may be. So usually we will receive the goods to organization from A supplier. The payment has to be done to A only. If in case, regular case. But now this A is telling, don't send the payment to me. Instead of paying to me, you can make the payment to B supplier directly. So this we have to do this some little bit configuration. Then accordingly, we can initiate the payments to the respective third party. Okay, this is also very good question. It will happen in real time world for any organization. The next one, what is accounting entry for API tax? So this is also I will do the separate entry. It's a very good question. Next, did you involve the migration activities for master data, both master data and transaction data? Yes, I did involve. You can say. So here, if you worked. So here, please keep in mind, if you have a full clarity on master data and transaction data loading, then only you can say yes. Otherwise, if the guy who, the interviewer who is asking, if he is having in-depth knowledge, he will grill you. That you please keep in mind. Okay. So because if they may ask cross questions, if you're trying to bluff him, so it's not possible. If the person knows, then only will ask these questions. Migration activities, please keep in mind. Next, so here, please keep in mind. So many people, I think, aware what is master data, transaction data. I hope you guys are aware. So master data means it's a supplies, customers, items, and then internal bank accounts. So the bank branches it will come. Transaction data means open invoices. It could be AP open invoices, AR transaction, FA open assets, open POs, and then GLTB balances. These it will come. Please keep in mind. Can you please tell me the step by step process for supply data migration and total how many API templates required to load this data into application? So this is also very important. You can tell clear process how many API templates you have. Like we have a supplier header information, address, site assignment, contacts, bank accounts. Okay. So and if you want add tax information also, we have separate tax RI template. By using it, we can add the tax related accounts and other information. Okay. So that you can explain very clearly. Next up, how many ways we can migrate the supplier master data into Oracle Fusion? So supplier master data, yes, if it is in a big customer, big client, we have a DMF tool, data migration framework tools. By using that, we can migrate, or else we have a APIs. By using the APIs also we can migrate the lot of data, and at the same time we have a FBDA templates. By using the FBDA template also we can migrate, but manual it's not possible because lot of data it will be there, right? So how many records we will create manually? It is not possible. So next, what is mean by manual payment in AP? So manual payment means we are doing the manually. So that means the payment it is here two things we can remember. I mean we can keep in mind. So manual payments. So we are doing the payment manually. We are not doing the with the help of payment batch or some painful option. So we have a create option, create payment option. By using that we can do. So that is we can say manual payment. So and at the same time, if you have recorded this payment in outside, so those also we can record it as a manual payment in Oracle application as a record proof. Is it possible to set up the BPM approval for manual payment cash payments? It's not required. So for cash payments approval, manual payments approval, it's not required because the payment it is happening the outside. Okay. So there is no use to set up the payment. It is not possible as per my knowledge. Cash payments, sure, it's not possible. Manual payment means if you are creating by using the create payment option, as per my knowledge, it won't initiate the payments. Only payment batch alone, we can initiate the payment that to host integration or else any online process. But manual payments, cash payments, it's not required. It won't require to do the approvals. Is it possible to split the invoice and can I make the different installment due date for those invoice? Yes. So in the invoice installment, if you go there, we have split option. If you have invoice amount 10,000, if you want make 5,000 today as the due date, if you want make remaining 5,000 as a after 1 week, you can give the different due date accordingly. That invoice installment amount it will pick for our payment batch. Okay, there you can split the due dates. Based on that system, it will pull that respective invoice into your payment workbench. That you can keep in mind. It's a good question. Can I want to restrict the user if they are making the payment without supplier's bank account. I want to stop them. Is it possible? If yes, where we can restrict? This is also very, very important question. So sometimes users might not aware if the supplier bank account is not there in supplier's master data, sometimes the system it will allow because the payment validation and all it won't happen here. It will happen. It will validate in a supplier's banker server. Sorry, or banker server with the help of this payment process profile and then this payment request template and all it will happen. I mean the payment format. Sorry. So in this case, that validation it is not putting. So without if you are doing the payment for bank account, it will record the data in our payment format. It will go to the banker server. Then it will reject. So that entire process you have to do manually. Maybe doing the void process or something. Again, manual efforts required. So in this case, to process the host to host integration or online payments, it's required the bank account mandatory for the supplier to make the payment. So without the supplier's bank account, how the bank will process the payment, it is not possible. So that's where we can put a condition. If the business user creating the any payment, we should make that supplier should have the bank account. Then only system will allow us to users will allow us to make the payment against the supplier. If it is not there, we can restrict. We have a payment method level user defined rules we have. There you can restrict the document payee, bank account number, payee name as a required option. Then it will restrict. Either it could be format level you can do or a payment method level you can do. Next, can I change business unit name after the transaction got created in the production instance? If yes, what is the impact on this BU change for an existing transaction? Okay, so yes, at any point of time, you can change the business unit. Automatically, the new name which you updated, it will update it for the reports, it will update it for the existing transaction. There is no impact on that. What is written as release invoice in AP? So this I will do separate video. It's a one of the good functionality. So we can, when we are doing the some leasing invoices, we can hold some amount so that we will release it based on the item returns that machinery return to organization. So that accordingly we can do. I mean supplier will hold our amount, then accordingly we will release that invoice. So it's a separate function that I will do later. So tell me the P2P process along with accounting entry. It's a 100% entry question. Okay. So please prepare. So this I will do separate video. So what is accounting entry for fixed assets AP invoice? This is also I will do separately. It's also good question. Is it possible to hold the invoice to skip the payment for a current payment batch run? Yes, we can. So we can put on a hold in the invoice installment level. Then whenever you want, you can release it manually by creating the manual release, manual hold. We can do it on it. So can you please tell me few reports in AP? So we have a seeded reports for each model. So even I did one YouTube video on this. Please go and refer that video where we can download all seeded reports for the model wise. Okay, yeah. So these are the important questions. Next we have AP pre-close process. This is also very important question. So that we will discuss later. Okay. So yeah. So these are the important questions. Please prepare. So next we have few more. So next, what is the payment status after payment got reconciled in cash management? So it will be cleared status, guys. Okay. So once the payment is done, it will be negotiable. The reconciliation is happening in cash management. It is in a clear status. Please keep in mind. Next one, what is the use of distribution set? It's mainly used for to default our distribution combination for non-PO based invoice. This is also good question. Can I hold non-PO based invoice in AP? Yes. So we have a supplier level hold or unmatched invoices hold options we have. If you enable that checkbox, system it will hold the non-PO based invoices automatically the moment you create. So client wants send the BPN notifications to the AP users if any invoice hold from past 1 to 7 days. If yes, how we can do? So that means if any invoices are went for a hold within 1 to 7 days week, if any user want go and update the holes, they are not clear. I mean rectify that holes. So system need to send a notifications to the concerned business users. How we can do this? Yes, we have a hold resolution notifications in the BPM approval, and when you are setting up this while creating the custom holds, there you can enable that BPM notifications related checkboxes, and we have to create that appropriate hold resolution notification rules conditions in the BPM level. Accordingly, it will work. This is also very good important functionality because how many holes are there for BU wise for user wise that we don't know. So it will impact on our period close process. So if you do this kind of alerts, so that it will hit the concerned business users, they will look on that invoices which went for a hold. Next, can I enter duplicate invoices number for AP invoice? No. If the same supplier, it won't accept. If it is a different supplier, yes, it will accept. If I want restrict the invoice attachment option at BU level in AP, is it possible? If yes, where we can? Yes. So we have a prevent the invoice attachment deletion option at the invoice options level checkbox. If you enable that for the respect to BU, it will restrict the users to delete the respect to attachment option. Okay, we can do that. We can restrict BUs. So what is self-assessed tax in GST in AP? So this I will do separate video. That means we are holding some amount tax and we are paying the amount to the supplier. So next, what is withholding tax? We are deducting the some portion of the tax. So in as per India, enter tenure for any supplier. If any invoice crossed over the 50 lakhs, then we will take some portion of the tax that we will pay to the government. So we have a TDS section 194Q, 194C, 194I. So based on that tax, how much rate it is imposed for that respect to goods and services. Accordingly, we can deduct the tax portion if the invoice is crossed throughout the year at the 50 lakhs, then we can charge the amount. So accounting entry for withholding tax or else TDS entry name. Okay, so this also I will do separate video. What is RCM? Reverse charge mechanism in GST. This is also very good question. So RCM means reverse charge mechanism. So let's assume we have a MDH Spices is a registered organization, and we are getting the some dhaniyas or a kasturi methi or some turmeric or else some besan powder from the farmers or a small trader. So he is not an a GST registered supplier. That means he is an unregistered trader. So if you buy directly from suppliers, they don't have any GST number. So in this case, so instead of paying the tax to the direct registered supplier, usually we will pay the tax directly to the registered supplier if it's a registered supplier or a trader. But if we are procuring the goods from the directly farmers, this turmeric or some besan powder or a kasturi methi or a dhaniyas, so they are not a registered supplier. They don't have GST number and all. So in this case, we are paying the tax on behalf of unregistered supplier to the government. In this case, this RCM will come into the picture. We will pay to the government, the tax portion. So what does mean by BOE, Bill of Entry in GST? It is mainly used for Bill of Entry, customs duty. If you are importing any goods from the foreign, okay, as an a TDS, as an a GST portal, we have to pay the customs duty to the particular machinery. There it will be added. Your GST you have to pay for that machinery. Education sets you have to pay. Secondary education sets, higher education sets, Swachh Bharat sets, and if any cess it will be there, all it will be imposed, then you can pay to that amount in the port, then you can take your way particular machinery into our factory. At that time we will do that BON. So what is the difference between recoverable tax and non-recoverable tax in VAT or GST? So recoverable means, so what are the tax which is created if it is in a recoverable by doing the filing GST or 1 or 2, we can get that amount returned back. Non-recoverable means for certain amounts of goods and services, there is no claiming process. So that tax it will taken care by the tax amount taken by the government. So I want to make the invoice description field or invoice description box mandatory. So if it is possible, how we can do? Yes, we can make it as a mandatory checkbox by doing the form customization with the help of sandbox personalization. We can do it. It's a simple only. Will the system will allow of user want to make the payment without back with the backdate enabled? So for backdate they want to make the payment. Yes, we can do. Today is the what is today date? It's a 12th, I believe. So in this case, I want to make the payment for yesterday date, 11th February. So if you enable allow backdate payment in payment options, it will allow. Okay, that is also good functionality. Good question. Okay. So is it possible to create a custom payment or a client specific payment method? Yes, we can create. So in any organization, they want to make their own payment method, they can create. So like in GE, they will create a GE electronic payment method, GE cash payment method, GE wire payment method, MDH cash, MDH electronic, MDH manual payment, whatever it may be. So how they want, we can create it. So what is the use of create accounting job process in AP? So it will be used for to create the accounting entries bulk and we can transfer to the GL. It's a very good question. Okay, that is very, very important, guys. Create accounting program. So it is possible to schedule a create accounting job entry. Every day midnight after the business hours. So what is asking? Is it possible to schedule the create accounting job on every day midnight after business hours? Yes, we can do. So we have a schedule process. If you go to the advanced tab in a when we are running the job, there you can specify the frequency every day or hours or weekly. Then you can select start date, end date, specific time. It will run automatically. Next, is it possible to create own client specific fields in the invoice header level? So if you want to capture the some additional information, yes, we can create by using the DFFs. Descriptive flexible, we can create it. Is it possible to change the payment method at a invoice installment level after validating, after accounting? Yes, at any point of time, we can do the payment method. Okay, no problem. It will allow. How many types of holes do you have in AP? So there are a lot of types of holes. Okay, like system holes, manual holes, accounting holes, distribution holes, funds holes. That we'll discuss separately. Okay, yeah. So these are also few important questions which we faced, which we got in our recent interviews. Those are very, very important. Please prepare yourself. So the next one, how many KFF are there in AP? key fixed fees. So in AP we don't have any KFF guys. In AR, sorry, in GL we have, and fixed assets we have more. So in AP we have no key flex field. Okay, so as per my knowledge. So next, user want to create a AP invoice from BU1, but he wants to make the payment from BU2. Is it possible? If yes, please explain me how we can achieve this. Yes, we can do with the help of shared service concept. We can do this. This I will explain later. We can do it. It's a possible, guys. Is it possible to create? Sorry, it is possible to create a recurring invoice from UA or a front end. So no. So recurring invoice we have to create always by using the spreadsheet. There is no options to create directly in the front end. So what is the setups required to make the payment in AP? So all payment options you can explain like bank accounts, bank branches, payment options, invoice option, common option, then payment pass profile, payment format, payment system. Yeah, these things you can explain. On what access level we can set up the internal bank account. So it's a work on a legal entity wise. All our AP bank accounts, internal bank accounts, it will work legal entity wise, not in a particular BU wise. It will work legal entity wise. Next, how the system will know which invoice is temporary prepayment invoice, permanent prepayment invoice. So based on the creating, and we have a apply option will be there. Prepayment application option, some date it will come in the show more option. If you are able to see that apply after date, it will be showing as a temporary. If you are not able to see, if the checkbox is disabled, we cannot able to select the date. It's a permanent prepayment, so that system will understand. I will show you that in separate video. How to create a permanent prepayment in AP. Okay, so it's just a simple. If there is no date, if you create invoice system, it will showing that as a permanent prepayment without applying date. Next, what is the difference between temporary prepayment and permanent prepayment? Temporary prepayment we can adjust for the future purchase invoice. Permanent prepayment that we cannot able to adjust for any future purchases invoice until we cancel our business with the supplier. So how can I change the pay, prepayment type? Okay, so how can I change the prepayment type? So there is no options to change the prepayment type from temporary to permanent or permanent to prepayment. We have a separate mechanism. It will be there that I will explain later. But that is very good question. Next, we have already created a prepayment for the supplier, but while in applying the prepayment against the AP invoice, I am unable to see many of the what might be the reason. If the prepayment is not available, if it is already applied, if it is already cleared that prepayment for existing invoice, it won't show. Okay, if it is a prepayment itself, it is not there where it will come. It won't come, right? It won't show. So okay, next, is it possible to update change the supplier's name or else the supplier's address without sending the supplier's bank notifications? Sorry, supplier approval notifications to our manager or someone else. So here, whenever we are doing the approval, making the approvals, sorry, and whenever we are updating the supplier name and supplier address, if the approval is enabled, it will send the notification, change notifications to our manager or someone. But they don't want to do it. How we can do it? If you update the supplier information, it could be address or it could be name or something else with the help of a BDA template, it won't send the any notifications to the concerned person, either manager or someone. Please keep in mind. It is a very good question. Okay. So if you do the changes with the help of FBDA template, it won't send. We are updating the data with the help of interface. It won't trigger the any notification approvals to your manager. Please keep in mind. This is easy. We can do it. But it is very, very important question. Most of the people might not aware. What are the jobs will trigger automatically in backend after payment will be run? So payment batch is run. There are a lot of list of jobs will be there that I am yet to list down, but it is also very good question. So what is the use of supplier remittance advice in Oracle Fusion? So supplier remittance, once we done the payment, it will send the payment informations to the supplier via mail. Okay. So and so invoice related payment is remitted to your bank account. Here it is the payment details like that. It will send a notification mail. So and what are the setups required? What are the setups required first? Prerequisites required for a remittance advice. There are a list. We'll do separate video. What is mean by PPRT in AP? So payment process request template, with the help of we can make the bulk payments in our accounts payable model. It's a batch payments. Yeah, so these are also few very important questions. Please prepare yourself. Okay, it's a good questions. Next, what is the use of realized gain and loss accounts and where we can specify these accounts in AP? So it will be mainly used for foreign currency transactions and some cross currency transactions. No, we mainly foreign currency transactions. This we will set up our common options as well as our bank account level. If you are doing any foreign currency related payments under, it will be coming to the picture. Can I? Can you please explain me the AP period statuses? We have open, closed, permanently closed, future interval, like that it will be there. What is mean by BT payments in AP? It's a branch payments. Branch payment. That means we have a two units. Like Faridabad, we have one plant. Gurgaon, we have one plant. Faridabad unit related electricity bill, it is coming to Faridabad, but they don't have options to make the payment. On behalf of Faridabad corporate branch, Gurgaon branch, they want to do the payment. In this case, we can do this BT transfers, BT payments. It's a similar to intercompany. So is it possible to automatically create PO matched invoice using the IDR process in AP? Yes, we can do. With the help of required attribute system, it will recognize and it will create the PO matched invoice also automatically in the AP with the help of IDR process. So in which case we can stop the payment, AP payment. So it could be stolen, it could be lost the check, it could be made on the wrong supplier or wrong payment bank account number. So there are a lot of options we can stop the payments. How many types of distribution sets we can create or else we have an AP? So there are two. I mean to say 100% distribution sets we can create, or else if you want to create specific to project related also we can create. But if you put the zero, you can give the set percentage or a different kind of percentage directly in the distribution set. Accordingly, you can use it. Okay. Next, is it possible to create bulk invoices in AP? If yes, so yeah, we can do it with the help of a spreadsheet or a BDA template. So what is the nature of account type for the supplier liability? It's a liability one. Account type. It's a liability. Liability. Supplier liability is nothing but liability. It's a liability for organization. So what are the list of automatic invoices we have in AP? So there are withholding tax, interest invoice, and payment request invoices. So AP users request self-approval for the AP invoice. How we can achieve this functionality? So that means AP user, he want to approve this invoice himself only. That means self-approval in it. So in this case, we can enable the force invoice approval option at the invoice option. Then automatically he can approve his invoice automatically in the invoice action approval tab. There we have approve invoice, force approve. Is it possible to change the paid invoices in AP? If yes, where we can control these options in AP? Yes, we can do with the help of allow adjustment paid invoice option. In the invoice option, we can change the adjustment for a paid invoices. What is this of AP aging report in AP? So it will pull all our due date crossed invoices in the AP aging invoice report. Okay, what are the invoice due date crossed? Those invoices only it will show in the aging report. Can I restrict? Sorry, can I create multi-currency transaction AP? It's like a foreign currency transaction. Invoice is USD payment you want to run some INR currency. You can use it. Can I create cross currency payments in AP? Yes. Cross currency means your invoice currency is USD. Sorry, your ledger currency is USD. Invoice currency is GBP. Payment currency is Euro. So here three currencies are involved. This we will call it as a cross currency. Again, I am repeating. Cross currency means ledger currency USD, invoice currency GBP, payment currencies Euro. So here we are involving the three currencies. That's where we can call it as a cross currency payment. Invoice currencies GBP, payment currency Euro, ledger currency USD. Three currencies are involved. That's where we can call it as a cross currency. Do we have any OTBI or else any BI experience in AP? So if you involve, you can say, or else instead of BI reports, OTBI reports are it's a simple only. by using the subject selected subject areas we can create it that you can tell to interviewer, or else I have some basic idea, I can provide the functional input to them technical team, like that you can say. So next one, the AP team will import or receive the bulk invoice from the multiple sources with a not validated status. Now the business user want to validate these invoices in bulk in a single process. Is it possible to achieve this functionality in AP? Yes, we have a validation job. It's invoice validation job. You can submit it. By using that, we can validate all invoices in a single go. That is also very important question. Okay. Yeah. So this is all interview questions, guys. I covered almost 150. So all are very, very important questions based on my past experience. What are the interviews which we our students got attended in our institute? Based on that, I prepared all these questions. It will be very helpful to you guys. Okay, so please prepare yourself and you can crack your interview, and it will be very helpful to you guys. Okay, so and my sincere request to everyone. So still anyone not yet subscribed Connective Technology YouTube channel, please subscribe for more and more quality education videos. So you can see here we prepared 150 questions. Okay, 150 plus. Okay, so such a way we will give the good content to you guys. So please support us. Thank you guys. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Yeah. So we'll connect again with a very beautiful videos in coming days. Thank you guys. Have a good day.